Hello, and welcome to my Cusco travel guide. These are the 5, in my opinion, the 5 best things to do in and around Cusco, Peru. So if you have a trip coming up, you're reminiscing on a trip that you've just had, or you're looking to do a bit of research about the area, these are what I believe, in my very subjective opinion, are the 5 must-do things that you can probably accomplish all within about 10 to 12 days. So you don't even need to be in Cusco forever to do all of these, but they are ranked based on my opinion. I will preface this by saying that I have partnered with Untitled Travel, and I do also want to add that everything I say, I am talking about because I genuinely love the experience. They're not paying me to say this at all, and I do want to make this as genuine as possible. I wouldn't pass along any information that I wouldn't actually tell a friend or family member, and this is me trying to help you out with your travel plans. And if you do decide to go with Conde, great. I can't recommend them enough. I had an absolute fantastic time with them. Whoever you decide to go with, Cusco is a place full of adventure, full of activities, and full of things that you can do at a reasonable price, and that is going to be incredibly unique, and in my opinion is amongst one of the greatest adventure destinations on planet Earth. That said, we're gonna go immediately in to number 5. Rounding off the top 5 is a little bit obvious, but I honestly think that this is absolutely essential for a couple reasons, and that is do a city tour, explore Cusco, get to learn about the culture, see the Incan and colonial influence that is within the city. And the reason that I say that this is absolutely mandatory is, for one, altitude sickness can get pretty gnarly, and it's one of those activities that will acclimate you to the climate. So Cusco sits at about 3,400 meters in elevation. I will put the conversion in feet for you Americans, like right here. But that's pretty darn high, especially if you're like me and you're from beautiful Ontario right here. We're not really used to altitude whatsoever. So being able to take at least 1 to 2 days before you do any of the more intense hiking and trekking and different excursions, which I will talk about in a minute, really important. And on top of that, it is a city worth visiting and exploring and seeing. The Plaza de Armas always has things going on. There's tons of bars and clubs for nightlife if you're into that. There's really great walking tours that take you to old Incan ruins like Sacsay Woman. It's kind of pronounced like Sexy Woman, which you probably caught on. Beautiful, beautiful ruins right on the outskirts of the city. It's pretty affordable, and in my opinion, I honestly think it's just a really great way to spend about 6 to 8 hours of your day, get used to the climate, and don't get too hard on yourself before you get even higher in altitude. And on to number 4. Now, this unfortunately is one of the few excursions, and the only excursion on this list, that I did not actually get the chance to do due to not having enough time. It is a 1-day trip, and that is to go to Rainbow Mountain. Now, from just about every single person that I have talked to that has went, from all the photos, this is clearly one of the greatest sights in all of Peru and maybe even South America. It's called Rainbow Mountain because the summit looks exactly like a plethora of colors, something that you may not find anywhere else in the world, and it is an extraordinarily unique activity. Now, with that said, it does come with its own set of challenges. For one, it is about 5,200 meters of elevation, which I will translate for the Americans to feet right now, and it is said that you should not drink, be hungover, or have partied, or have gone on a lack of sleep the night before, because that lack of air and the thinness of the air can be extraordinarily challenging. Now, if you are an asthmatic or you have other medical conditions and you really want to do this, but you're not sure if your body can handle that sort of physical exertion, then there are options to take a mule or a horse to the top, which will be a lot quicker. And I believe that you get about an hour to an hour and a half to explore the area up top. I know a lot of people have gotten some incredible drone footage there. Don't quote me on it, but I believe that you can fly them there. If I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. It is truly unique, it's special, and I really look forward to, when I go back, whenever that's going to be, to having something like Rainbow Mountain to do still to cross off the list. And now number 3, rounding out the top 3, is the Sacred Valley Tour, or check out Valle Sagrado. And the reason that I say this is because, one, much like number 5 with the Cusco City Tour, you are probably going to need at least 2 days to adjust to the altitude, and one of the best ways to do that is to go to the valley that goes up to 3,800 meters. So before you go to any high altitudes, it's really good to do these things that can really give you that adjustment period so that you don't get too sick and you can get used to that. Now anyways, so the tour takes about 12 hours long, and it is an amazing way to spend an entire day in and around Cusco. You have about 5 to 6 stops. You check out different places like Pisac, Ollantaytambo, Chincheros, the salt mines, and Moray. And in my opinion, these are some of the most incredible archaeological sites in all of the Americas. Some of them are completely intact from the same way that they were during Incan times. And on top of that, some of them have even been restored and look incredibly beautiful. It's an amazing way to spend a full day. It's really worth your money, great for that adjustment period, and in my opinion is honestly, some of the archaeological sites are even more impressive than Machu Picchu, and I think it's one of the more underrated views in Peru. And not too many people talk about it, which is why I'm trying to pass it on, because I do recommend and I do think it is a must-do. And number 2, which I honestly believe is one of the ultimate adventure excursions that you can do in South America, and that is the Inca Jungle Trek. And this trek covers everything. It's 4 days and 3 nights to Machu Picchu, most fun ways to get to one of the 7 wonders of the world. And it starts on day 1, a couple hours of driving, get right into the mountains by Abramalaga. You just bike down, take the mountain bikes out for a rip, 50 kilometers down an entire mountain. One of the coolest things I've ever done as a big mountain biker. It was really great just to get on the bikes. Obviously they're not going to be quite as nice as the things I was using out in Whistler, but they're still great fun. You've also got different activities later in the day, such as the same day that you were mountain biking, you'll head whitewater rafting. Honestly, I thought whitewater rafting completely exceeded every expectation I had. And again, I really want to emphasize, I am saying this from as genuine of a place as I can. I would not be recommending it if I didn't actually have the best time. I wouldn't have made this video to begin with. But whitewater rafting, it was my first time. They're really good in terms of the safety considerations, in terms of getting you in the water and just having the most fun doing so. Toss up some pictures just right here of what that was like. The following day is about 20 kilometers of hiking, so completely different. A lot of the places that you're going to be walking just have a completely straight drop off through the valley. So if you are afraid of heights, it could be a little challenging and difficult, but I wouldn't think that it is anything you can't handle. I thought it was entirely safe unless you were completely reckless, which you shouldn't be. It was a really incredible experience. Got some crazy drone footage there. And then day 3, you keep on hiking, keep going through the jungle, keep heading towards Aguas Calientes. And Aguas Calientes is the footsteps of Machu Picchu. And what's really incredible there is you get to actually see how tourism has benefited the community there with brand new soccer fields. And it's just really great seeing that the locals are actually able to bring in quite a bit for themselves. And that's really nice. Day 4 is the following day. You will get your ticket and you will head up to Machu Picchu, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Probably the reason that you wanted to go to Cusco in the first place. I'm finally mentioning it now at the number 2 spot. I loved it. I thought it was one of the coolest places I've ever seen. The ruins are remarkable, and take your time to actually go out and explore. Go take a left if you think that that's the way that you want to go. Go up, go down, go through the ruins, go around, because those traditional views are great, but getting into those little corners and those pockets, seeing the alpacas and the llamas up there, is something that's really remarkable. And you actually will have an experience that you can go and see places where there aren't too many people, because not everywhere in that space is crowded. And that is why I think that the adventurous activity of the Inca Jungle Trek is the number 2 spot. Finally, number 1, what is I believe to be the absolute best excursion that I have done in and around Cusco, and it was very close between that and the Inca Jungle Trek, but it just narrowly beat it out, and that is the Salkantay Trek. The Salkantay Trek does also end in Machu Picchu, and the last 2 days are the exact same as the Inca Jungle Trek. It's the other 3 to 4 that you do that are absolutely stunning and truly unique that I think are some of the greatest reasons to go. So day 1, you basically head out and you begin hiking, and the valley that you enter is one of the most stunning and jaw-dropping beginnings to a hike that I've ever seen. I have a full vlog on that, which by the time you watch this, if you didn't watch it within the first couple days, you will be able to see to Lago Umantay, which is a remarkable place to begin with. Day 2 includes 23 kilometers of hiking, where the first 5K is all uphill. It is one of the most challenging and difficult things that I have ever done, and it is also one of the most rewarding. The views at Salkantay Pass are jaw-dropping. You can see the most beautiful blue lake. You can see these gorgeous glacial peaks. I was even there and filming an Instagram story, which I'll put in right now, and an avalanche kind of went down, so that was really crazy. I'll put it in right now. On top of that, the waterfalls that you stumble across on day 3, just the people that you meet in tours like this when you go trekking are really special. And I want to thank the Lazy Llama crew for being the absolute best squad that we could have possibly had. Again, you do end up in Aguascalientes, you do go to Machu Picchu, and you also get to do some of the excursions that you do on the Inca Jungle Trek, including the zip lining and the hot springs. The only ones that you don't get to do are the mountain biking and the whitewater rafting. So those activities are unique to that one, but the intense hiking, the views, for me, were really, really special, and it was one of the most beautiful places I've seen anywhere in the world, and I can't recommend the Salkantay Trek enough. So that is my final top 5 list of the best things to do in and around Cusco. Obviously, it's incredibly subjective, so there might be things on this list that you thought should have been better. There might be things that I didn't even mention that you think should have been in there, and if that's the case, please let me know. Comment down below what you think I could have done better, what you think could have added to this video, and also what you think you did in Cusco, or want to do in Cusco, or heard about in Cusco that is deserving to be on this list. It's one of the most remarkable and cool cities that I have seen. It has incredible European and Incan influence that dates back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's the ancient capital of the Americas. And for that, I think it is a city worth traveling across the world to go see. I do recommend checking out Conde Travel. I will leave their links in the description. I had a great time and can't thank them enough for sending me on those tours to film them and photograph them. If you have any questions, please let me know. My Instagram is @JamesLife, life with an extra E. And if you got any value of this, if this didn't suck, if you think that this was at least tolerable, I'm a very, very small creator, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you could subscribe, because I will be putting out more. I head to Portugal next in 2 days, and I'm super excited to make more content like this as I cross through Europe and move forward with filming as much of this world as I can. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to my annoying face, and until I see you next time, if I see you next time, thank you and goodbye.